History is full of kings and conquerors, but sometimes the most remarkable stories begin in chains. This is the story of Saif ad-Din Qutuz, a boy stolen from royalty, sold as a slave, and destined to become a sultan. Imagine a young prince ripped from his family, stripped of his name, and thrown into the brutal world of slavery. Yet, inside him burned a fire that could not be extinguished. He became a Mamluk, a slave soldier, trained to be the deadliest warrior of his age. In Egypt, Qutuz began a climb so improbable, it seems like legend. He faced unimaginable hardship, losing everything: freedom, family, identity. But he never gave up. He transformed suffering into strength, pain into power. Rising through the ranks, he earned respect not just with his sword, but with his mind and character. Our story begins not on a throne, but in a slave market, a journey from despair to power. Qutuz's life is a lesson in hope. Where you come from does not decide where you are going. He would change the course of history and save his people from destruction. Even in the darkest times, one person's courage can light up the world. He was a slave who became a savior, a boy who became a king. His name was Qutuz, and this is his incredible journey. Qutuz was born Mahmud ibn Mamdud, a prince of the Khwarezmian Empire. His childhood was one of privilege until the Mongols swept across Asia, destroying everything in their path. The Khwarezmian Empire fell, and young Mahmud was captured, his royal identity erased. Sold in the slave markets of Damascus, he was given a new name, Qutuz, the fierce beast. Perhaps his captors saw a spark in him, a wildness that could not be tamed. From Damascus, he was taken to Egypt, sold to Izz al-Din Aibak, a powerful Mamluk emir. In Cairo, Qutuz entered a world where even a slave could dream of becoming a king. The Mamluks were no ordinary slaves. They were elite warriors, trained from boyhood to fight and command. Their lives were harsh, but offered a path to power. Qutuz embraced this path, knowing it was his only chance. He was no longer a prince, but he was now in a place where destiny could be rewritten. In Egypt, Qutuz became a Mamluk, a slave soldier but also a future leader. For the boy named Qutuz, the journey had only just begun. His fate would soon shape the destiny of an empire. Life in the Mamluk barracks was relentless: discipline, training, and survival. Qutuz excelled, mastering the arts of war and leadership. He earned respect through action, not words. Brave in battle, wise in counsel, his masters saw his potential and promoted him through the ranks. Qutuz became a trusted aide to Sultan Aibak, and after Aibak's death, the real power behind the throne. As vice-sultan, he navigated the treacherous world of Mamluk politics, outmaneuvering rivals and forging alliances. But outside Egypt, the Mongol threat loomed larger than ever. The Mongols had destroyed Baghdad, sending shockwaves through the Islamic world. Now they were at Egypt's doorstep. The young Sultan, Al-Mansur Ali, was a figurehead, too inexperienced to lead. The emirs needed a true leader, someone who could unite them against the Mongols. All eyes turned to Qutuz, the fierce warrior who had risen from slavery. He was ready for the challenge. The fate of Egypt and the world would soon rest in his hands. The time for action had come. In 1259, Egypt trembled as the Mongols advanced, having already destroyed Baghdad and conquered Syria. Refugees flooded Cairo, spreading tales of terror. The teenage Sultan, Al-Mansur Ali, was powerless. Real authority belonged to Qutuz, but Egypt's emirs were divided, more concerned with their own ambitions than survival. Qutuz knew unity was their only hope. He called a council of emirs and judges, urging them to set aside their rivalries. "We cannot face the Mongols with a child on the throne," he declared. "Egypt needs a warrior king." His words convinced them. Qutuz was made sultan. The slave boy from Damascus was now ruler of Egypt. But his greatest test was just beginning. The Mongols were coming. The fate of the region rested on Qutuz's shoulders. He had reached the pinnacle of power, but now faced the ultimate enemy. Egypt's survival depended on his leadership. The world watched as Qutuz prepared for war. The final confrontation was near. The Shadow Sultan was ready to step into the light. As Sultan, Qutuz wasted no time. He united the Mamluks, ended internal feuds, and mobilized Egypt for war. The Mongols sent a chilling ultimatum: surrender or face annihilation. Many emirs, terrified by Mongol brutality, urged Qutuz to submit. But Qutuz, remembering his own family's destruction, refused. He saw this as a battle for Egypt's soul. To send a message, he executed the Mongol envoys and displayed their heads on Cairo's gates. It was a bold declaration. Egypt would not bow. The people's fear turned to resolve. Their sultan would fight. Qutuz opened the treasury, raised a massive army, and called all able-bodied men to arms. Egypt was united as never before. The Mongols, led by Hulagu Khan, were advancing through Teferi. Sezamisen Detri Geffer Ekeri, and that the Toman Natsing Spored. Kudalker Tautur, Wuspors then. Doubt that Chaundus knew the decisive battle was coming. He would not wait for the enemy to invade. He would take the fight to them. The stage was set for a confrontation that would decide the fate of the Middle East. The world held its breath. Qutuz marched north, determined to make a stand. The Mongol storm was about to break. Qutuz led his army out of Cairo, marching north to meet the Mongols in Palestine. The Mongol main force had withdrawn, but a formidable army under Kitbuka remained. Qutuz seized the opportunity. This was his chance to strike. The armies met at Ain Jalut, the spring of Goliath. A fitting name for a battle of giants. Qutuz chose the battlefield carefully, setting a trap in the valley. He hid his cavalry in the hills, and sent Baibars to lure the Mongols in. The Mongols, overconfident, charged into the valley. At Qutuz's signal, the hidden Mamluk cavalry attacked from both sides. The trap was sprung. The hunters had become the hunted. The battle erupted in chaos and fury. The fate of Egypt, and perhaps the world, hung in the balance. Qutuz's strategy was brilliant, but victory was far from certain. The Mongols fought with legendary ferocity. The Mamluks, inspired by their sultan, refused to break. The decisive moment was at hand. The Mongols, surrounded and shocked, fought desperately in the valley of Ain Jalut. The Mamluks, driven by the memory of lost homes and families, battled with unmatched ferocity. At a critical moment, the Mongol left flank pushed the Mamluks back. Panic threatened to spread. Qutuz threw off his helmet, shouted, "Wa Islama," and charged into the thick of battle. His courage electrified his troops. Their fear vanished. The Mamluks rallied, pushing back with renewed strength. The Mongol lines began to crumble. Kitbuka, the Mongol general, was captured and executed. The remaining Mongols broke and fled, but there was no escape. The Mamluks pursued relentlessly. The victory was total. For the first time, a Mongol army was decisively defeated in open battle. The myth of Mongol invincibility was shattered. News of the victory spread like wildfire, bringing hope to a terrified world. Qutuz and his Mamluks had done the impossible. The tide of history had turned. After Ain Jalut, Qutuz was hailed as a hero. He had saved Egypt and the Islamic world. He restored order in Syria, appointed new governors, and stood at the height of his power. But Mamluk politics was deadly. Ambition and betrayal lurked everywhere. Baibars, the brilliant general who helped win the battle, demanded the governorship of Aleppo. Qutuz refused, wary of Baibars' ambition. The rift between them deepened. Baibars began to plot. On the journey back to Cairo, the conspirators struck. During a hunting expedition, Baibars and his allies assassinated Qutuz. The savior of Ain Jalut was murdered by his own men. His reign had lasted less than a year, but he had changed history. Baibars rode to Cairo and became the new Sultan. Qutuz's life, begun in tragedy, ended in betrayal, yet his legacy would endure. The hero had fallen, but his legend would live on. Qutuz's death was a dark betrayal, but his achievements could not be erased. In a single year, he united Egypt, faced the Mongols, and won a victory that changed the world. Ain Jalut stopped the Mongol advance and saved the heart of the Islamic world. Qutuz's story is one of resilience. Born a prince, enslaved, and risen to sultan, he turned tragedy into strength, never losing hope or purpose. His courage inspired ordinary people to do extraordinary things. He led from the front, charging into battle when others faltered. The victory at Ain Jalut was not just military, it was a triumph of the human spirit. Qutuz proved that destiny is not fixed, it is forged by those who refuse to surrender. His life is a timeless lesson. Even in darkness, a single act of courage can change the world. Today Qutuz is remembered not just as a king or a slave, but as a hero who shaped history. His journey reminds us that hope and determination can overcome even the greatest odds. From chains to a crown, Qutuz's legacy endures. He was the Lion of Ain Jalut, a symbol of what one person can achieve.